Here's to feeling good all the time.
My name is George. I'm unemployed and I live with my parents.
Hey, you know what would make a great coffee table book? A coffee table book about coffee tables.
I don't have a square to spare. I can't spare a square.
But I don't want to be a pirate!
Hello, and welcome to Seincast, a retrospective on all 180 episodes of Seinfeld, being hosted by two guys who can barely run their own lives. My name is Vinnie.
My name's Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Hello.
How are you?
We might have set the record for the most attempts at introing this podcast.
True.
I think that was number 20.
Hey, when you got the giggles, they don't go away.
Yeah.
They got to dissipate of their own momentum or volition.
Well, I hope everyone enjoys that because the laughs stopped now. Let's move on to some Seinfeld news.
Hey, I got news for you.
Great news. All right, I got news. You ready?
So this is really cool. Joel Hodgson is bringing back Mystery Science Theater 3000 for 14 episodes. This is after a insanely successful Kickstarter campaign. I think it broke the record for the most money raised. Or at least in the quickest amount of time. $6.3 million for 14 episodes with Joel. You've got Felicia Day playing Kinga, the daughter of Dr. Forrester. You've got Patton Oswalt as the son of TV's Frank. So they're kind of continuing the mythos of the Mystery Science Theater original series.
Now, Matt, I think the question on all of our listeners' minds is,
how does it work?
What does this have to do with Seinfeld?
Well, I'm prepared to give you a complete demonstration. The cool thing about Mystery Science Theater, for a lot of reasons coming back, but one in particular, is that Jerry Seinfeld apparently is going to cameo in at least one of the 14 episodes. I don't know if he's just going to do a quick walk-on role or if he's going to actually riff the movies with Joel and the bots. I don't know really what's going on. It's kind of cool to hear his name thrown in the mix with some other celebrities. You've got Bill Hader, Jack Black, Joel McHale, also good old Mark Hamill, who everyone knows from that 70s classic Corvette Summer.
I loved him in that one.
Yeah, he was really good in that. But it's kind of cool. They're kind of reaching out to various celebrities to see if they want to get involved somehow. And
he's always bebopping and scatting all over the place, so why not throw a mic in front of his face and let him do it at the expense of bad movies?
Mm-hmm. It's really suspicious because there was a $100,000 donation, like really late in the game. And a lot of people are wondering if that was Jerry Seinfeld himself. So,
really?
Yeah, you never know. They're apparently good friends. Joel was in the first season of Comedians in Cars.
Aha.
Yeah, there you go. So apparently they're buddies.
This is exciting news.
Exciting for you, especially because I have been trying to get you to watch Mystery Science Theater for over 10 years now.
Once again, you've wore me down, and I'm sure we'll be watching it when I see you.
Yeah, when are you going to see me? Anytime soon?
2 days' time. It's a Festivus miracle.
Yes, it's a Force Awakens miracle.
Ah, yes,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we're going to go see the new Star Wars movie together. Very excited about this. And I'm sure along the way we're going to do a little Seinfeld stuff. Maybe hit up Tom's or...
Oh, you better not be fooling now.
Don't tease you.
You said it. This is on record.
We're probably going to celebrate Festivus a little early, you and I, because you won't be able to make it for the big Festivus trivia event on December 23rd at 8 p.m. at Slattery's in Midtown New York. Are you, Vinny?
Fortunately, no. I would love to be there, but I am indisposed.
Yes. Well, you'll be there in spirit. For those of you that haven't heard our previous episodes, we've got 5 rounds of trivia on the 23rd at Slattery's at 8 p.m. Check out triviaad.com to make a reservation. Definitely make a reservation. You can't just show up and expect to get a seat. But if you can't get into Slattery's on the 23rd, you can also go to the Black Bear in Hoboken on the 23rd at 8 p.m. They'll also be doing Festivus trivia. And the week prior, on the 17th, Thursday the 17th, you can do Seinfeld trivia at Gotham Bistro at 8 p.m. So there's plenty of opportunities in the week leading up to Festivus to play a little trivia. But Vinny, I've actually sent you a few of the questions. You're sort of my trivia barometer. And what do you think so far? Are they pretty tough? Are they pretty easy?
First off, it's pronounced thermometer. And yes, they are quite difficult. There's some easy ones, but you really got to bring your A game if you want to succeed at these trivia events.
It's a lot of fun. You can really enjoy being a Seinfeld fan at these events because everyone around you is like-minded. They all, know the quotes. They all get the references.
They speak the language.
Yes. Anyways, if you'd like to get in touch with us, you can email us at seincast@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram. If you'd like to support the show, check us out on iTunes and leave us a review. That would be much appreciated. Also, you can donate to the show, which is always a huge help. You can check out the donate tab on our Tumblr page. Thank you, as always, to everyone who has donated. It means the world. Thanks a lot. Vinny, what episode do we have this week?
This week, we are discussing the 12th episode of Season 5, The Stall, written by Larry Charles, directed by Tom Sharonis, and it originally aired January 6th, 1994.
I feel like we haven't seen Larry Charles' name in the credits in a long time.
Agreed.
As a writer, at least.
Yes.
This is one of the original 4 writers on Seinfeld, the George Harrison, if you will, right?
Yes, I would say that.
Or is he Ringo?
No, well,
I think he's a George Harrison.
He's George.
Only one more episode for Larry Charles until he moves on to create Mad About You. That last episode he's credited on is The Fire, so I'm glad that we have him for a couple of months still. Let's talk a little bit about inspiration for this week's episode. Turns out Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David had their own private bathroom in the writing offices. Larry Charles used this bathroom. Apparently, it came to an end, and he had to be pushed into the hallway bathroom, which apparently was always out of toilet paper. So that's where part of the idea came from. Combine that with a Dear Abby he once read, in which 2 women got in a fight over toilet paper.
There it is.
Yes. Speaking of fighting in the bathroom, Julia had a lot of trouble after this episode aired whenever she would use a public restroom. Anytime, she'd go in the stall, people would shout at her, "Do you have a square to spare?" So that's something she couldn't live down.
She says that's one of the few things that haunts her is having to, reprise the Elaine role at that, intimate time when you're trying to just use the facility.
Some filming trivia for this week. Jason was apparently really nervous about filming the rock climbing scene because he has a fear of heights. Do you have a fear of heights, Vinny? Could you go rock climbing?
I've gone rock climbing with... I do have a fear of heights. I've used the indoor wall and the one that you kind of traverse. It's really low to the ground.
Yeah.
But the high ones do make me nervous. So yes, I do have a fear of heights.
Well,
do you?
Yeah, I guess so. I'm really bad at rock climbing. I don't think I ever learned how to do it properly because I'm exhausted. Just after.
Gotta use your legs.
Right. I thought it was more arm strength, like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible 2.
Yeah.
All right. So apparently they just filmed this rock climbing wall a few feet off the ground at the CBS Studio Center. So there you go. Jason was okay. However, that rock climbing scene was just going to be one big wall. I think it's it's one of the shots in that scene where it pretty much fills up the whole screen. That's all they were going to have, and then just a few close-ups.
It's kind of when you see the characters from their backs.
Yes.
So you can only see the back of them.
Mm-hmm. And Tim Kaiser, one of the producers, thought, hey, we could make this look a lot higher by shooting with some green screen and imposing mountains on the background. So that's that one shot you get of sort of like a profile. That's when like Kramer goes around George.
When he's yodeling.
Mm-hmm. But the opening shot, like that big mountain with these little tiny figures on it, that was actually shot in the San Fernando Valley. And then the actors were just sort of superimposed on that still image. Now, the main reason I bring all this up is I was never a big fan of the blue screen technology, especially in this episode. It's probably most used in driving scenes, which you sort of buy, but something about Michael, swinging around, especially when he goes in front of the blue screen and that like the side of his body gets all wavy. It's always really bugged me because I can't really think of another moment in Seinfeld where they go this far with the special effects.
What about when Kramer is on top of the hook and ladder and he's turning the wheel when he's on the fire truck?
Yeah, that's a good example because his whole body is pretty much in blue screen. That rock climbing scene is actually kind of funny because Michael was lamenting that he never got a chance to do something funny with the cables and stuff like that. Would you have liked to see something like that where Kramer's kind of all tied up or?
Yeah. Michael is a gifted comedic actor and physical comedian. So it would have made sense for him to kind of explore getting caught in the cables and being turned upside down. And when you watch that scene, it's actually George or Jason who was the one who was inept at rock climbing, and Michael Kramer is the one who's just cool as a cucumber on that wall. And this is one of the few times that I've heard Michael in interviews say, "Oh, I walked away, smacking myself, saying, what was I thinking?" Where he could have really explored that role and gotten a lot of physical laughs out of that scene. So I do agree with him. I would have liked to have seen him be more of a doofus up on that wall.
Whales are supposed to be such an intelligent animal. You always hear about how they can communicate by song from miles away, how extensive their vocabulary is. I would say, from the rate we are pushing the whales off the beach back into the ocean, the words shore and close do not appear to be in their vocabulary. I would say the whales concentrate a little less on the singing, a little more on the approaching Cuervo beach volleyball tournament. We want to maintain that brainy mammal image.
So I'm listening to this stand-up, and I'm thinking, are we watching The Marine Biologist?
No, totally. I feel the same way. Talking about whales, and there's no whale in this episode.
So then I thought, are they kind of foreshadowing, or they're kind of, making a little bit of a nod to the next episode? Mm-hmm. But in fact, this routine was originally written for The Marine Biologist to be the ending stand-up of The Marine Biologist. But because that episode ran so long, they decided to use it in the Stall's opening stand-up.
Yeah, they said, cut it. Cut it.
I said, oh, you stop signing? I will say, though, you could actually justify this stand-up being here because they're talking about the intelligence of whales. And one of the themes of this episode is the intelligence of Tony the Mimbo. So Tony is like the whale.
That's true.
He's the doofus.
And I could see Tony on the beach.
Hunky Tony,
Yeah.
Of course.
I do wonder, though, are whales really dumb creatures? I thought that they were really smart.
I think they're very smart, too. I think this is just Jerry trying to get a little stand-up out of it.
Jerry, don't start up with me. And also, yeah.
We'll learn a lot next week about how smart the whale is.
That's true. Well,
what a fish.
Whatever. If there's a beached whale, it's not like they wound up on the beach because they're stupid. I always thought that had to do with some ecological issue or...
Humans did it, right?
Right. That's what I always assumed. Okay.
Same.
First scene of the episode, we're at the Metro Theater. Little background on the Metro Theater. It was, at least at one point, at 2626 Broadway between 99th and 100th Streets. That's on the west side. It closed in 2005. It was gutted. And I just checked out an article on the New York Times. There are recent plans to turn it into a Planet Fitness. So,
boo. I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like that either. So many cool things they could do with that theater. But anyways, at least the outside, I think, will be preserved. They're going to try to keep it the same.
Okay.
Which is nice.
That's something.
Did you check out the marquee, though, on that standard def DVD you got?
I missed that.
Well, I saw The Age of Innocence on the right. That's playing in theater, too. I had a tough time reading the other movie playing. Mm-hmm. But I'm making it out as Beethoven's Second. Remember the dog? The dog movie?
I remember. Roll Over Beethoven. Is that accurate for this time, for 1993? Is that when Beethoven came out?
It is. Beethoven's Second came out in 93. So I think it all syncs up.
There we go.
And it stars a future Seinfeld, not guest star, but someone that's mentioned on Seinfeld, Charles Grodin.
Of the Charles Grodin Show.
Of the Charles Grodin barbecue sauce. Anyways, we're inside. We're in a bathroom, and all you can see are these two sets of feet. You got black shoes in the left stall. You got some familiar-looking Botticellis on the right.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. This is kind of embarrassing, but there's no toilet paper over here. Are you talking to me? Yeah, I just forgot to check, so if you could spare some. No, I'm sorry. What? No, I'm sorry, I can't spare it. You can't spare it? No, there's not enough to spare. Well, I don't need much. Just 3 squares will do it. I'm sorry, I don't have 3 squares now, if you don't mind. 3 squares? You can't spare 3 squares? No, I don't have a square to spare. I can't spare a square. Well, is it 2 ply? Because if it's 2 ply, I'll take 1 ply. 1 ply. 1 puny little ply. I'll take 1 measly ply. Look, I don't have a square, and I don't have a ply. No, don't go. I beg you.
Big fan of the scene to start the episode. Such a helpless visual, seeing Elaine with her little white socks and her Botticellis, no toilet paper, pleading with this woman across from her or next to her. But the way they block this and shoot it, you can really kind of get a sense of what's going on. You see the body language of the character's feet. So Jane, as we'll learn in a little bit, she turns her entire body away from Elaine.
But they walk away, the shoes.
Yeah. It's very funny. And then even when Elaine learns that she's not getting no squares, she kind of twists her ankle as if defeated, and now she's stuck. It's a really interesting way to shoot. I found it great way to start the episode.
It reminds me of like a little animated short or something like that. The whole story could be told without even without dialogue. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Could have been a silent film. And I'm going to say this now because toilet paper centers around this episode. Some of the plot points here. Who is the expert on toilet paper in the Seinfeld universe?
I'd have to go with George.
He's a lover of toilet paper. He appreciates toilet paper. He discusses it with his future girlfriends, and yet he has no say or no mention in any of the toilet paper scenes.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Has he brought up toilet paper yet on the show? Hang on. I just answered my own question. Isn't there a bar scene in season 4 where he's talking about like the history of toilet paper and Jerry makes fun of him?
Toilet paper music. What they do for toilet paper in the Civil War.
There you go.
Exactly.
There's a show.
So that's season 4, and then later on when he's dating Sienna. But it would have been nice if he kind of he could have like weighed in on the situation and said who was at fault. But we'll leave it to Larry Charles.
He's also big on public restrooms. The best restrooms in the city. Mm-hmm. I'm sure he would have scoffed at Elaine for using the bathroom at the Metro Theater, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And she just needs one ply. That's it. So, I mean, we don't need to get into the specifics, but she's obviously in dire need of toilet paper, but one ply will do the job, I guess.
Right. One measly little ply.
Can't do anything with one ply.
I want to argue with, how often have you been in a restroom where there's no toilet paper whatsoever? Usually now they have those backup canisters where there's always a second or third roll waiting in the wings. I don't know when those came into existence. Maybe this episode was the influence in that.
On the entire city of New York.
Yeah.
Really gross, but I always carry tissues with me.
For that reason?
Not for that reason, but I've noticed it sometimes it has come in handy in the past. So, too much?
No.
Okay. Let's move on to Jane. We didn't see her face earlier, but now we do. She's black shoes. She joins Jerry in the movie theater. She sits next to him. He's really enjoying his artificial butter-flavored popcorn. And
he's wolfing it down.
Yeah, he's really enjoying it. There's something about, we can get into this later, but really like goofy, immature Jerry. It's really coming out this scene. And it's with each like handful of popcorn he's eating and talking with a full mouth. As she's about to explain what happened to her in the bathroom, we get a great juxtaposition as Elaine sits next to her date, Tony, on the other side of the theater.
Where's my popcorn, babe? What, did you forget about me, babe?
Pretty good. A little Tommy Wiseau in there.
Thank you.
Yeah, we get this great little back and forth between Jane and Elaine. Well, let's go over these talking points here. So Jane says a person needs a certain amount of toilet paper to be covered. And hey, I simply could not spare it. And this other woman, she didn't get it. She kept harassing me.
And Elaine responds back with 3 squares. All she was asking for was 3 squares.
Elaine just wouldn't stop. Help me, help me, help me. She was insane.
Elaine was just begging Jane, please, please. She was insane. Now Jane is insane.
Yeah, so I think they both raise a good point just from their own perspective, but Jane is a complete loon here.
Oh, she's a nut.
Maybe
she's insane.
She might have some like social anxieties. Maybe just the idea of someone asking for toilet paper and that idea of being in a very vulnerable situation and having to help them, that might throw her off. Like she shuts down.
I could see that.
But what if you were in this situation and you saw, like a dude's hand reaching under the stall, reaching for you?
Depending on how he reached, I would say. But
what if he didn't say anything though? What if he just like this hand was coming to you? Would you just put some toilet paper in it? Or
I would beeline it out of there if a hand just reaches across and doesn't say what it's doing there.
All right. Well, what if the guy was like, "Hey, buddy, could you give me some toilet paper? I'm all out."
I would absolutely help out my fellow man. Mm-hmm. It is battle conditions, but you got to help out your fellow soldier.
Yeah.
And I still, in real life, I'm saying there's plenty of toilet paper for everyone.
Well, Jerry kind of jokes around here. Hey, I could get the manager. Too bad they don't have those old ladies with the flashlights walking around. Flush her out. And here
With
we go,
bite,
right?
Yeah, each bite, he's shoveling that popcorn in his face. Almost like he's not taking her seriously, or he's not completely engrossed in the conversation or concerned for what Jane is saying, right? Doesn't it seem that way?
Absolutely. And I see why Jerry has a different girlfriend each week, because he's never ever taking the relationship seriously. I feel like comedy is his first and true love.
Yeah.
So
and observing the world around him, not the well-being of his friends and girlfriends.
Right. It's almost like, I mean, this isn't a new thought. The whole show was based on, hey, where a comedian gets his stand-up material from, but you can really see it in moments like this, that Jerry is getting some really juicy material here to try out on stage.
Absolutely.
At least that's the vibe we get. He's even holding back some laughter. I think the real life Jerry is when Jane is doing the help me. Anyways, Jerry wonders where Elaine is sitting, wants Jane to meet her. Elaine wonders where Jerry is sitting, dying to know what Jane looks like.
Ooh, let me stop you right there. You see how Elaine is concerned with Jane's looks? Isn't that kind of interesting? Being the ex-girlfriend, she's dying to see what Jerry's new girlfriend looks like.
You know, that's something we haven't really brought up in seasons 4 and 5, how Elaine treats Jerry's girlfriends and how Jerry treats Elaine's boyfriends. They kind of gave up on that relationship stuff in season 3, but is this because Elaine is just curious, or like, has she always felt this way, or is it just this particular girl?
Good question.
There's something about Elaine in this episode where she seems to be very superficial, and I don't think it just applies to Jerry's girlfriends, you know?
I think it's probably because it's going to be this adversary for her, as we're going to learn throughout the episode. So maybe they that was built in to her. I want to see what she looks like, or we're just a couple idiots, and it was to establish that she has not seen what she looks like yet.
I won't disagree with you there, but yeah, it's totally to build up. There's a lot of setup in this episode, and I think it's pretty obvious from this scene exactly what kind of episode we're getting. You know where this is going. Larry Charles, I feel like, he's not being subtle with the jokes or the setup here. You know they're going to meet at some point.
And Jerry's going to be the one stuck in the middle, which makes it enjoyable for all of us watching when he's going to be the one at odds here.
Yeah. I feel like Larry Charles in his, final season, his last 2 episodes, he's like, listen, you guys get this show. Let me just come up with a funny premise and let's try to see how Jerry gets out of it. But also to sell the point that Elaine is really superficial this episode, not only with Jane's looks, but with...
Yes. As we're going to learn in a subsequent scene, Jerry and Elaine talk about men being more superficial than women. But yes, Tony is the handsome one, and now Elaine is wondering what Jerry's new girlfriend, who most likely is beautiful, what she looks like too.
I think Elaine deserves to be superficial. Out of all of the characters on the show, she probably dates the most ordinary looking people.
Yes, she does.
You know what I mean? Like, I think she deserves to be with someone that she wants just because he's attractive,
and she could get an attractive guy like that.
Speaking of, should we talk about Tony here? And
please. Hunky Tony. Hey. He's played by Dan Cortez. I remember this guy from MTV back in the 90s. Do you remember him? He hosted MTV Sports from 1992 to 97.
Did he wear the backwards hat then
too?
He did.
Yeah. And he had the long hair. And he'd always be coaching. Remember the Rock and Jock specials? You'd have athletes and then musicians playing softball, and then they ended up playing basketball and other things. It was a really cool premise for a show on MTV back in the 90s. And since then, he's transitioned into acting. He was in Demolition Man, Melrose Place, The Single Guy, Veronica's Closet, Rock Me Baby, What I Like About You, and Surviving Suburbia. And we should also mention who auditioned for the role of Tony. We have Stephen Eckholt, and the role I remember him most was he played Mark in Friends. He was Rachel's boss, the guy that kind of came in between Ross and Rachel.
I don't remember him.
I don't know what else he was in, but that's what I remember him from.
Okay.
And then you have Craig Bierko, who was in Larry David's movie Sour Grapes, as well as I remember him most from Cinderella Man. He played Max Bayer, the rival to Russell Crowe. Next, we should talk about Jerry's girlfriend, Jane, who is played by Jamie Gertz, the flinty one, the flinty voice Jane. She has been in Twister, Still Standing, The Lost Boys. She was in a couple episodes of Entourage, The Neighbors. She was on ER for a few episodes, a TV show called Sibs. And then she was in a movie called Mischief with Kelly Preston. It took place in the 60s. I don't know. It was like a raunchy comedy, but she was in that, and I liked that movie.
Yes, I remember that one from college. That was one of your... that was a source for you, wasn't it?
Perhaps.
Like Larry David has Sophia Loren.
They're all aware of what sources are, Matt.
Okay. Yeah, I remember her most from Lost Boys. That was one of my favorites growing up. She played Star in that one.
I never saw that.
It's a good one.
Add it to the list.
All right.
Oh, and speaking of which, in the scene when Elaine is describing to Tony what she just experienced in the bathroom, Tony is kind of sloughing off Elaine as well. He's kind of looking off, staring at the balcony, and he doesn't care about what she has to say either. So both men are treating their respective girlfriends poorly, I would reckon. So
next scene is at Jerry's apartment, and wow, what a rare shot of Jerry actually using his computer. Really kind of a cool little screen grab there, if anyone can get it. Kramer arrives, and he seems a bit shy, a little hesitant to talk to Jerry. He asks if he can use Jerry's bedroom phone since his batteries are dead.
It's not one of those 976 calls, is it?
Yeah. Turns out Kramer likes calling sex lines, and he's just looking for 5 minutes. He'll pay Jerry back, and he heads to the bedroom. And
it's kind of shocking that Jerry would let Kramer do this.
This seems like one of the weirdest things ever to happen on Seinfeld. The fact that Jerry would let Kramer go to his bedroom to... I'm sure he's keeping it clean, but just the idea of Kramer's going to be in my bed, getting turned on.
He's getting the juices flowing, and that seems way out of character for Jerry to let that go on.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll get into a little bit here later. I'm not entirely sure if Kramer is doing this for the sexual pleasure or if he thinks it's just funny.
Because he states that he thinks it's hilarious, but you can't... When you hear him in the act, you can't help but think he's interested.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Elaine arrives, and before she can even get into her bathroom, story, Jerry does that great impression of Tony.
Pretty boy. Tony.
Yeah.
Hey.
Right. Okay.
Hey, Tony.
Yeah.
Hey.
That's nice.
Now, maybe because that always shows up in clip shows, but I love that visual of Jerry moving.
Oh, the pop collar, and he's got his wrists kind of bent down, and he's going back and forth, kind of swooshing back and forth. It's a really cool visual.
Goes really well with Michael Jackson music, for sure.
Yeah.
So Elaine explains that, hey, I'm in the stall before the movie starts, and I realize there's no toilet paper.
No what?
Toilet paper.
Oh, whoa.
So it's pretty obvious. Jerry knows what's going on here. Elaine tells the rest of her story, completely oblivious that Jerry is dating the woman she's talking about.
But Matt, maybe she couldn't spare it.
Why do you say that?
What I'm trying to get at is Jerry used the phrase, maybe she couldn't spare it. And that is the same phrase that Elaine heard this woman utter in the bathroom. So don't you think that may have tipped Elaine off? Because I've never heard anybody use, spare. I can't spare square. Of course, it's one of those phrases that kind of caught on. But I felt like that might have tipped Elaine off to what's going on.
That's a risky move on Jerome's part, I think, to make Elaine think, hey, that's a common, gesture. Hey, I can't spare a square. It's battle conditions. I can't do it. I'm sorry.
Furthermore, Elaine says she hopes she runs into this woman again because she'll never forget that flinty voice. It is tattooed on her brain.
Flinty?
Elaine says flinty. She says it very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But Kramer's going to use that word later.
Of course. I think it's pretty easy to make the connections. You know what I mean? Nothing is subtle this week.
And there's times when the audience can kind of catch on with what's about to happen.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is very, very cool.
Definitely. Very similar, though, that voice is tattooed on my brain. Reminds me of the Pez dispenser. The same situation with Elaine, where she's the guilty one. And was it Noelle, the piano player? She said, I'm never going to forget that laugh. Mm-hmm. And again, in that episode, it's just a matter of time until these two people interact.
Same situation.
Elaine's excited to meet Jane, though, completely oblivious that she is the same woman. Turns out both couples, Jerry and Jane, Elaine and Tony, are planning to go out Saturday night. And
that should be fun.
Elaine has to call Tony, though, and picks up the phone.
Then we'll get a cab and we'll do it in the back seat. How's that, Andre?
Andre?
Oh, what about the driver? Might get in an accident.
So what?
Oh, that wouldn't be very good.
Hey, Andre, get the hell off the phone.
Here's what's weird. As he comes out of the bedroom, he is laughing. And he's like, hey, this phone sex thing, it's hilarious. Especially with the calls with this girl, Erica. Do you feel like Kramer's trying to downplay the real reason why he's doing this?
Yes. We've seen him flustered before after getting hot and heavy in the contest, right? He comes in, he slams the money down. So I think he was a little bit, dare I say, aroused in Jerry's bedroom. Now, I know I'm kind of trying to shoot holes in the plots here. I just find it interesting, but don't you think Jane, or excuse me, don't you think Erica may have recognized Jerry's voice when he says, hey, Andre, get the hell off the phone?
Hey.
Possibility?
That's definitely a possibility. We're not really sure, spoilers, when Jane/Erica finds out about, this group of friends kind of all knowing each other. But I think that's very, very possible. The most important takeaway from this scene is that Jerry found Erica's voice a little familiar. And as they leave, Jerry tells Elaine that Jane couldn't meet up last night because she choked on a jujube.
Jujube.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even know what a jujube was.
Yeah, I always see those in the store. I'm like, juji fruit. Oh, it's jujubes.
So apparently they come from the same company. That, what about the driver line?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Is very popular. We heard that in the clip. And don't you and I always say, oh, that wouldn't be very good.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. There's nothing weirder than Michael going off script. I feel like that's an off script moment, and being a little sexy. Like when he's with that one girl when he falls asleep and she dumps him in the river, she's kissing him and he's like, "Oh, what is this? Risky business?"
Yeah,
that's another weird one. Something about amorous Kramer that always made me a little uncomfortable. But now we're in Jerry's car, and Vinny, I hate telling you this, but it's time to defrost your freezer.
Yeah, I know.
My in-laws are guilty of this. Whenever I go over to their house, the freezer's just packed to the gills.
Just caked in frost.
Frost. There's all this food in there. I can't get anything.
I've never had to. Maybe my parents did it growing up, and now I have my own fridge.
Yeah.
How often do you have to defrost?
You got your own fridge. We barely have anything in our freezer.
So you don't defrost yours?
No, not at all. But Jerry starts making fun of Elaine's boyfriend again, Hunky Tony. And despite Elaine's denial, he thinks she is being superficial for going out with a guy that looks like him. And we get that great term here.
Elaine, he's a male bimbo. He's a mimbo.
Do you think this picked up? Or was it the spare square that might have taken off?
I think the spare square is a little bit more popular, but mimbo is an excellent term.
Mm-hmm.
This episode could almost be a Peter Melman in terms of the terminology that's been thrown out and the smallness of the plot itself. I'm saying like bathroom etiquette, mimbo,
absolutely.
The dynamic between men and women. But yes, you're right.
Now in the Summer of George with what's his name, the dude, Leon, Lyle. Dude is sort of similar to a mimbo, maybe. Is mimbo more like kind of dim, whereas a dude is more masculine and like, hey, what's up, man?
Dude in the Seinfeld universe, I would think would be like a burly, like Lyle's kind of like a lumberjack. He's got the thick hair, mustache, flannel shirt, Jerry. And then mimbo, I think, is more of like a beautiful man with a perfect face, and kind of. But there's something about like that surfer sort of thing. I'm getting confused. That's mimbo, I think. Okay. I think in the Seinfeld verse. Because Tony's more like man pretty.
Sure. Okay. Man pretty. Well, Elaine just thinks that Tony is an exciting, charismatic man who just happens to have a perfect face.
I do think that's an interesting commentary on the genders by having Jerry say, Elaine, different for a man, we're expected to be superficial. So he just comes out with it. And then he's implying that women are, don't take looks into account as much as a man does.
I think that's somewhat true.
Somewhat.
For the most part. I mean, I feel like especially in New York, there's, I think, a lot more women than men. I think men have the opportunity to be more superficial, whereas women might not. Just my feeling, though. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Apparently, George has a non-sexual crush on Tony. It's Tony this, Tony that. George is like a schoolgirl around him. And we, pretty accurate, we cut over to Monk's, and George is sitting with Tony in a booth, hands just resting on both sides of his face, just in awe of the man sitting across from him as Tony, puts his hat on backwards, cool dude. And this is a pretty long clip. But this is one of my favorite George scenes of all time. Mm-hmm. So here we go.
So I said, hey, dude, you better step off. Step off? Yeah. You said step off? Wow! that is too much.
Hey, Tony. I just had this brainstorm for us. Can you guess what it is?
No.
Bowling.
What do you say, bowling? Huh? Bowling's insane. Bowling is crazy time. Bowling. I don't think so, George. You get no rush from bowling.
Rush? You want to rush? Drop a ball on your toe, my friend.
Talk about a rush. You'll be throbbing. You'll see visions. No. I'm thinking rock climbing.
All right, rock climbing. Just the two of us. Yes. All right. Hey, I'll make some sandwiches. What do you like? Tuna, peanut butter?
Whatever.
All right. I gotta buy some bread.
Yeah. I am definitely down for some rock climbing.
Yeah, me too. I am down. I am totally down. Mark me down.
Cool. So, what do you say we climb a rock mañana?
Mañana. Mañana might be a problem. I'm supposed to have a boil lanced mañana. I think they charge me if I cancel with only one mañana's notice.
Hey, Kramer!
Hey!
Kramer, my man, what are you doing mañana?
Mañana, I'm doing nada.
What do you say you scale some rock with me and George?
Tony, it's gonna be too many sandwiches.
Come on, Kramer, what do you say?
Kramer, it's pretty dangerous up there.
No, I'm down.
Yes!
Yeah. I'll see you.
All right, buddy. Take it easy, Kramer.
Tony really does embody that 90s look. He's got the multicolored puffy jacket on, the longer hair, sideburns, and then the backwards cap that has the plastic adjuster. No fitted hats back then. Not like the real players wear. So I do like Tony's character a lot because it's very 90s.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And speaking of that hat, I didn't notice it's a Giants hat.
Yeah.
And that is totally part of the swag that the crew got in the masseuse.
Excellent.
So they filmed at a Giants, or they did like a mock Giants game. The Giants sent all this gear to the crew, and they wound up using it, I guess, and keeping a lot of it. So that must have been left over. But yeah, I totally agree. There's something about Tony that is just, if you want to understand, I feel like the era in which the show was made, he is one of the perfect examples of that.
And Dan Cortez, I loved the way he took on this Tony role.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite lines he delivers, we just heard in the clip, but you get no rush from rock climbing or from bowling.
Yeah. Oh, bowling. Bowling also came up in a recent episode, Cigar Store Indian. Remember that? They all went bowling when it opens up at the Costanzas while his parents are out of town. So bowling must be a big deal with a gang, especially with George. Like, that's a rush.
Yep. And that's something Larry David talks about in Curb is what else can you do besides go out to eat and go to the movies? What's the third thing you can do with somebody? Bowling. Mm-hmm. There's another phrase that I think kind of stuck around throughout the series. We heard at the end of the clip is "I'm down." We've heard a couple characters say it, but I think George is the one that took hold of it the most for the rest of the series run.
Absolutely. So much good stuff in here. I feel like we should just highlight it. Mañana. I mean, that's something we have been known to say.
We said it last week.
There you go. I love, it's pretty annoying by the end of this episode, but I love the whole step off.
Oh, yeah.
Step off? You said step off?
Yeah. Is this one of the rare times we kind of see George really trying hard to befriend somebody? Can you think?
Where he's really desperate?
Well, he just wants it so badly. I've never seen him quite this enamored with somebody before, let alone a guy of the same sex.
That's a good point. Yeah, we'll find out that the reason George likes him so much is because he's such a cool guy. I don't really know how often George wants to be surrounded with a certain type of man, to make himself look better.
Yeah.
He always seems so insecure that it's more about what can I do to myself?
Right.
Do I wear boots, or do I wear a toupee? What can I do to enhance my appearance? But I think the bigger question is, how does George know Tony, and how does Kramer know Tony?
Right.
Have any theories on this at all?
I would say that Elaine just started dating Tony. They've been dating for a couple weeks, and she's probably introduced them to at least Kramer and George. Although we'll learn later, Jerry hasn't even met him yet.
Yeah, so it would be odd if George and Kramer met this guy, but Jerry didn't. I think any theory is valid, from George or Kramer meeting him at the Y.
Or Jerry was out of town doing a show the night they went to Monk's for some coffee and they met.
Just ran into them. Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
It's just one of those weird questions you have. Like,
there's a little bit of background with Tony and Kramer and George. We just don't know what it is yet.
And I think a pretty strong background, the fact that they're going to go rock climbing together. But then again, Tony is such an extreme sports kind of guy. I think he'd go rock climbing with anyone, really.
Right. The reason I think we also bring this up is because there was some deleted dialogue in which, when Kramer came in, Tony said, "Hey, Kramer, when are we going to play some golf again?" And then George interjects saying, "Golf? There's no danger in golf. You don't get a rush from golf." And Tony replies, "You've never played with Kramer. Full contact."
Oh, wow. So they would have gotten together at some point.
Right. And it's kind of I see why that exchange was kind of cut. It doesn't really add to the scene, but we do learn that they do have that history.
All right. Maybe, you know what? Maybe he's just an old friend. He could be an old friend of Kramer's or George's.
Perhaps.
That introduced to Elaine. But let's move over to Jerry's apartment. Jerry's back on that computer, and George is putting on some rock climbing shoes he just bought. Elaine's making fun of him, of course.
Rock climbing? Where do you come off rock climbing?
Well, especially because he needs a boost to climb into bed.
Oh, shut up.
And is she just making fun of him, or do you think that's true?
I can see that being true.
Yeah.
Those Costanzas are short, and if he's got his bed mounted.
Right. Well, George loves being Tony's sidekick, though. He's the first cool guy he's ever been friends with his whole life. Tony's not afraid of anybody. And the way he talks to waitresses,
he gets free pie. In that shot where George is explaining how cool a guy is, if you look at Jerry's fridge, you can see there's the Superman magnet, which has been there for a while. But this week you can see a hand-drawn, colored picture of Superman that looks like it was drawn by somebody's kid.
Yeah, I saw that. I want to see if that tracks, though, for the next couple of episodes. It might have just been for this episode. Kramer enters, and George is a bit annoyed at him.
Nice move today.
What?
Horning in on my rock climbing trip. It's just supposed to be me and Tony.
He asked me.
You put him on the spot.
I think that you're in love with him.
What? That's ridiculous.
No, I don't think so. You love him.
Excellent Kramer delivery and ability to kind of sniff George out right from the get-go.
Absolutely. You're right. Kramer is really good at calling George on, his bullshit, or at least getting that what's underneath the surface. Bosco, remember that one?
Yeah, he can read George like a book.
Mm-hmm. So George gets the lowdown from Elaine that Tony doesn't like peanut butter. That's the most important thing here. And Kramer, meanwhile, answers the phone, and he's confused because the woman on the other line says she's Jane. But there's something about that voice.
It's very familiar. Throaty, almost flinty.
Did you say flinty?
Yeah. Flinty.
It's a fun one.
There it is. Elaine said that flinty voice is tattooed on my brain, and now Kramer uses it, which again, to describe somebody's voice, although now it's very fun to describe someone's voice as flinty, that's something, again, that Elaine and Kramer may have been like, what did you just say?
Right.
And to make that connection, but this is a TV show, I realize. I'm sorry, people.
When I first watched this earlier today, I kind of got annoyed at how obvious it was, the setup for this whole Jane Erica thing. But really, what's the point in hiding it or trying to be crafty? Like,
yeah, because the characters don't know, and that's what's interesting. But I was wondering, when an audience is watching this for the first time, are they like, "Oh, it's totally her"? You know,
they must. There's no way. I was comparing this episode, or at least the whole Jane Erica thing, to the Cheever Letters with the panties your mother laid out for you. Mm-hmm. There's that great, sort of anxiety about whether or not Elaine knows about these panties, or the comment, I should say.
Right.
But it's not set up from the first scene to the last scene. It's really like in the final third of the episode. I think what I'm trying to say is I think you can get away with, having that lingering question in contained third of the show. But when you stretch it across an entire 22-minute episode, it's really hard to keep it going and getting people wondering, like, is it, isn't it? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree.
Because right up until the end, you start to think, okay, they're not going to make it. There's only 5 seconds left. That it's not her.
Who she is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're over at the rock climbing mountain now. Love the physical comedy between George and Kramer in this scene, especially because I'd be just like George if I were rock climbing. I would be absolutely terrified.
Well, especially on a real mountain. It's one thing to be indoors. Like, that makes me feel a little bit more comfortable. I have yet to go on an actual mountain, but this, air quotes, actual mountain looks scary.
There's this moment when Kramer is trying to get George to relax, to yodel. He's like, yodel. And all George can get out is... it's just like squeaking out. It's funny how Kramer knows how to rock climb, by the way. I thought, when did he pick up this trade?
Probably when he was in the military.
That's true. And, we know he has a connection with Sweden, probably some mountains out there.
That's right.
Probably doing some climbing. Have you ever been in a situation like this, though, where you're just completely terrified? You just want it to be over?
Yeah, I went on a date last week. Boy, it was pretty rough. No. I can't think of one off the top of my head. What do you got?
Well, the closest I got is skiing. I went skiing last year. And,
first time?
I went skiing when I was like a teenager. And I did okay. So it's been about 15 years. And all I knew is what I learned then, which wasn't really much. And I get on this hill. It was in Vermont. It was actually in Stowe, some pretty like intense mountains there. When I started going down the mountain, I realized I'd made a huge mistake. That this is like way too intense and I have no idea what I'm doing. And I fell so many times, like hard. Not like, I just fell to the side and I just inched my way down. I tumbled, my skis broke off so many times, went flying. I had to retrieve them. So many people stopped and been like, are you okay?
That looked really bad.
Yeah. And I remember being so upset that I was in that situation. I just don't want to die. I don't want to break my neck. I don't want to break a leg. I'm just going to try my best to get to the bottom of this hill, or this mountain actually, and just go to the lodge. I felt like George pretty much in this scene.
Hey, George, you got anything to eat, dude?
Yeah, I got some sandwiches. I got tuna and salmon salad, Tony, because I know you don't like peanut butter.
I wanted to play that clip just because I love how George tells Tony what sandwiches he has.
See, he takes stock in what Tony has to say. He went and did his research. He found out that he doesn't like he hates peanut butter, which is a great trivia question. What are the two sandwiches that he brought with him when they were rock climbing?
Well, he says tuna and salmon salad. Does that mean it's all mixed together, or is one tuna?
I thought it was a tuna salad and then a salmon salad.
Okay, there you go.
We've talked about this before, haven't we?
Maybe. We didn't really talk about the outfits here, but I love how George is not prepared for rock climbing at all. Like, granted, it is winter, which I feel like you don't really want to go rock climbing in January, but he's got just his normal jacket on, which does not seem good.
Right. And
like,
sweatpants. You're right. Whereas Kramer's got like the skin tight stuff and a tank top. He looks like Stallone at a cliffhanger.
Right. Makes total sense. But so not only is George's outfit just completely wrong for rock climbing, I love that he has the sandwiches just in his pockets. This is, again, how I felt skiing. Like, I showed up in this really bulky winter coat. Everyone's got, like, really, like, stylish outfits on. Really nice. Oh, I didn't have goggles, by the way, either.
Ugh.
And speaking of goggles, should you be wearing glasses when you rock climb?
Oh, he's got to see the rock.
But couldn't you put on contacts? Like, I would think rock climbing, you're looking around so much. Wouldn't the glasses fall off?
Does George Costanza have contact lenses?
I don't know.
Let's ask Larry when we meet him. Any thought on who is at fault for Tony tumbling down the rock?
I don't know. Do you have some evidence one way or the other? I'm sort of at a loss.
Well, you hear Tony, tell Kramer, take the rope, throw it through the carabiner, and knot it.
Right.
And then he'll climb up. But Kramer then says, "Here, George, you got it?" George says, "Yeah," and then that's when Tony asks for the sandwiches. So I'm going to say it's on George.
Yeah. Ultimately, yeah, it is George's fault, but
because he had to go and impress Tony with his delicious sandwiches.
But to be fair, Kramer looks like he knows what he's doing. He should have known not to put responsibility on someone like George.
Well, when you go rock climbing in a winter jacket and sweatpants with glasses, you're right. You shouldn't rely on this guy for your safety.
I think there's a fair argument to be made for either Kramer or George, but I just feel so bad for George in this scene. He's just so scared and
if you think about it, big picture, he wanted to be friends with this guy so bad. He wants to be his sidekick that he gets to go rock climbing with him, even though Kramer's horning in. And then look what happens.
Yeah. So where's your money on Kramer? Or I'm sorry, on George, and I'm on Kramer. Okay. We'll let the listeners decide. We get an act break, and then we're at Jerry's apartment. Jerry and Jane are eating some pizza. It's a little oily, and he needs her napkin since he used his up.
I'm dripping.
Does this sound familiar? This looks like you when we go to eat. He's got his hands out.
I think that was 2 weeks in a row, but yes, I don't like my hands being sticky.
Yeah.
Larry David has a thing like this in Curb where he needs way too many napkins and he's eating that sub. It's one of the later.
Right.
And he actually gets pulled over by a police officer for taking all those napkins from that sub shop.
Most delis have those little napkins. You can't do anything with them.
Real paper thin.
Oh,
yeah.
Garbage. Mm-hmm. And by the end, it's just this big wadded up like mountain of napkins.
And it's disgusting. It looks like a crime scene. So Jerry says, I used it up. And Jane says, well, I need mine. Now, Jane has a really weird thing about paper products, right? She has to hold on to it. I'm going somewhere. She holds on to that toilet paper. She needs her napkin at all costs. Won't share with Jerry. And we're going to learn later in the episode, she may or may not sell paper products.
There you go. So something's going on with her stance on wasting paper goods. Well, Jane needs to head to work, a job that she hasn't explained to Jerry yet since it's so boring. Might or might not be paper goods. Jerry runs to the bathroom to wash his hands while Jane buzzes up Elaine. And gotta say, Jerry is pretty clever here. He earlier said, hey, Jane, you don't need gum. Your breath is fine. But now he's saying, oh, no, you need gum to cover up that garlic smell.
No, stinks. Terrible. It is a stroke of brilliance on his part.
Yeah, he's pretty good. So much gum that she can barely speak when Elaine walks in, and it gets a bit awkward.
So nice to meet you.
Her performance is pretty good here.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Aside from the paper issues, she seems like a really nice girl. Mm-hmm. And a good girl for Jerry to date.
Oh, see, I think she's nice here, but as a whole, I think Jane is awful.
Really?
Yeah, man. Like, the way
I said aside from her paper issues.
Okay, aside from the paper issue, I'm trying to see if there's anything else I don't like.
What else do we know about her other than her voice?
Yeah.
And her two jobs she works. I
don't know. There's like a dark side to Jane, I feel, especially when she's in the stall. And again, I know it ties into the paper products.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, you're right. I'm completely wrong. I love that last line. It's so dorky. See you Saturday night. She like brings her hand up.
Together Saturday night.
This whole situation, though, I feel like comes back in a sense in the opposite with the juji fruit. And Elaine has a mouthful of juji fruit. Can't
That's
talk
true.
to Lippman.
You're absolutely right.
But as Jane leaves, Jerry keeps the lie going, saying that the gum is a big problem for him. Doesn't think they can get together Saturday night now.
It's too much. It's embarrassing.
All right. Meanwhile, outside, George and Kramer are eavesdropping on Jerry and Elaine's convo, and they're a little nervous, I guess, to tell Elaine what happened to Tony. It looks like what happened, the accident, was earlier that day.
Yeah.
Like, first thing they do is head to Kramer's apartment, I guess, and just, Elaine happens to be next door. But I love this kind of joke. I feel like we've gotten it in another episode where, two people are like, they're panicking and whispering behind a door, and Jerry just opens it. Hey!
Well, Harold and Manny, I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
boys.
Great call.
Is there somebody else?
I don't know, but it's just that moment. I don't know. It seems to crop up in a lot of sitcoms where someone's panicking and then they, kind of have to face the music.
If you let go, this whole thing never would have happened. No, I was the one who was invited to come. Hey, what are you doing here?
You're alive.
Yeah.
Did you have fun?
Yeah. Well, for a little while.
Where's Tony?
Oh.
Kramer was supposed to tie a knot.
Whoa, Ginga. You were supposed to tie the knot.
What? Did something happen?
Well, Tony took a bit of a tumble.
His face. Did something happen to his face?
Well, it all depends on what you mean by happen.
He's alive.
Yeah.
What happened to his face? Tell me, what happened to his face?
Well, you see, he slipped and landed on a kind of
A rock.
Yeah. The ambulance got there very quickly.
It's a big rock.
We rode with him all the way to the hospital.
Yeah, I sang 99 bottles of beer on the road.
Well, aside from that, how do you like the sandwiches?
This scene is excellent. So good. I feel like this episode kind of builds and builds on each other, and each scene has memorable moments, but this one right here is awesome.
Yeah, the stall. I don't know as a whole how classic a Seinfeld episode it is, but it's really a good episode, like, scene by scene.
Yeah.
Really stellar stuff here. What about the scene do you like the most?
Tony took a bit of a tumble, and the way they're trying to delicately break the news to Elaine, and then George throws Kramer under the bus, and we get a great bit of improv from Kramer. Whoa, Ginga. You were supposed to tie the knot. That line was improvised by, or that turn was improvised by Michael. But, and then Elaine's reaction as she just bolts out of the apartment. What about his face? We learned that she is really superficial.
Right.
So I just really enjoyed the scene.
There's also a little connection here with Bottle Deposit. By the way, that's all I'm good for. You can say what you like about a scene. I just connect it to other episodes.
That's fun, though.
Okay. 99 bottles of beer on the wall. That's what Kramer and Newman were singing.
I didn't even think about that. You're right.
On their drive to Michigan. So that's something that Kramer does to pass the time on long, painful drives. And this isn't connecting to another episode, but that last line from Jerry, well, aside from that, how did he like the sandwiches? That reminds me of that old joke, aside from that, how did you enjoy the play, Mrs. Lincoln? Like that sort of
yeah.
sort of throwaway.
They were actually supposed to have George finish up the scene where he was going to say, the tuna was a little dry, but I jazzed it up with a little fresh lemon.
Could have put some dill in there, maybe some tarragon.
That would have been a fun callback.
Well, we're over at Elaine's, and Elaine is taking care of Tony while his face is all bandaged up.
And there's a nice pan from left to right where the audience, at least viewing this on a television, finally sees the monster that Tony has become. And there's that nice reveal. We get a laugh.
Now, I got to say, he looks okay. You know what I mean? He still can talk properly.
Well, if you think about it, like they had to bandage him up so that he could say his lines.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, there's no abrasions on his, tip of his nose or his upper lip. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you're right.
It's funny, though, that his body is okay, right? Or does he have a cast on?
No, it's funny because you see him kind of situated on the couch. He's got one leg up on the top of the couch, but it's just the way he's sitting. It's only his face that's banged up. That's what it looks like. I don't see a sling or anything or a cast.
I just checked the scene, and yeah, you're right. He's splayed out almost.
Yeah.
But he looks totally fine. Yeah, no cast on his arms or his legs. He's fine. It is funny, though, how he has such a big tumble, and all that happened was his face getting cut up. He's going to be okay, but Elaine wants to know if the doctors mentioned anything about, long, jagged scars, gross deformities, major skin grafts, stuff like that.
He doesn't remember. He was kind of in a medical haze.
But does he recall the words radical reconstructive surgery being uttered? Think, Vinny, think.
I'm drawing a blank, babe.
Had a little Kyle Dunnigan thing going on there. Hey, babe. How you doing, babe?
Christ time. I do enjoy this Elaine probing a clueless Tony. And you can really see her intentions.
Yes. So there's a knock at the door, and Elaine sees through the people maybe the most pathetic shot of George ever, just looking back, waving sadly.
Fisheye sees all.
Hi, Elaine.
Yeah, this isn't a very good time, George.
I just wanted to talk to Tony for a minute.
Step off, George. I don't want to see you.
Me? Step off?
Yeah. Tony says you better step off, George.
But why? It wasn't my fault. You asked me for a sandwich. I made such delicious sandwiches, Elaine.
Just beat it, dude.
Here, Elaine. Here. Superman. Tony, please. Next time it'll just be the two of us.
There won't be any next time, George.
Oh, Tony, don't.
Okay. Step off, George, okay? Can you just step off?
I just...
Step off. Step off. Step off. Oh! George, wait!
Yes?
Would you throw this trash out?
If you had to pick your favorite line from this scene, which one would it be? I've got money right now on the table. I think I know what it's going to be, but I want to see if you say it.
I got to go with, oh, Tony, don't.
Yes, that is it.
Just oh, man. He's lost everything.
Really?
Everything George has wanted in his life is gone.
It's so sad. He's really heartbroken. You can tell.
It's almost like a soap opera.
Mm-hmm. I do like the Tony, spread out on the couch. Just beat it, dude.
I don't want to see you. And then Elaine is kind of embracing this mimbo character.
Almost like she's the cool girl, because she gets to be with him.
And but she says like, you better step off, George. Tony says step off, so you step off, Like she's speaking like Tony.
Yes. Oh, God. That last part at the end where Elaine gives George the bag of garbage, I assume he would say, hey, no way I'm touching that bag for less than $2. You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about. Traditionally, yes, but the fact that his heart is broken,
yeah,
he can't think. Who can think about money like a time like this?
So maybe when George reaches into the garbage for that little eclair, he's thinking of Tony.
That's right.
Like he was thinking garbage. Last time I handled garbage, I was with Tony.
He's trying to get back an eclair from his soul. No? Are you trying to... Does that work?
I'm trying.
He's trying to get an eclair back from his soul.
Next scene. We're at Jerry's apartment. This is a tough one.
This is some dog
We're at Jerry's apartment, and Jane is massaging Jerry's shoulders. And what a great callback line this is.
Oh, I've been waiting a while for this.
Yes. You can hear, what's his name? Glenn Padnick really laugh at that one.
A funny joke.
Yeah.
Next girlfriend he gets,
right.
She's giving him that massage.
That's right. This is a callback to the masseuse with Jody, not giving Jerry the rub down. So Jerry used the gum excuse with Elaine. Now the excuse for Jane is that Tony got injured.
What a shame. It's a damn shame. A damn shame. So then Jane asks, well, maybe when he's feeling better, we can all go out. And Jerry responds with, yeah, without a doubt, I'm down. How would you describe Jerry's attitude here?
As he's getting the massage?
Well, based on it's a damn shame, it's a damn shame. That's the sarcastic line. But then he says, without a doubt, I'm down. Because he knows now that they're not going to get
together. Yes.
Right. And he's off the hook. He doesn't have to have Jane and Elaine come to blows. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's kind of neat how Jerry circumvented the situation.
He's getting away with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, totally. I think he's being really cocky and arrogant here.
Okay.
And just really enjoy. He's got his massage too, as well. He's
like Scarface, king of the world.
Pretty much. He's got his girlfriend. He's got his massage. No fighting. He's happy. But that line, though, without a doubt, I'm down. I thought that was just something that Larry Charles added to the script to kind of tie it all together. And
he's mocking Tony in a way too, because that's how Tony talks.
But he hasn't met Tony yet. How would he know that?
Oh, that's right.
Busted. You're busted. Well, Kramer enters and reacts to Jane's voice as soon as he hears it, but he kind of plays along, calling her Jane.
Jerry's told me so much about you, I feel like I know you intimately.
Oh, I don't think so. No, we never met. I never talked to you before on the phone. All right, I'll see you later, buddy.
Oh, wait, where you going?
Uptown to the Y.
Oh, I'm going uptown too. You want to split a cab?
What about the driver?
What are you talking about?
All right, I changed my mind. I don't think I'm going to go now.
All right, well, I'll see you later. Nice
Okay.
meeting you.
See ya. What's with you?
That's her.
Who?
Erica. She's Erica.
Oh, you think she's Erica, the phone sex woman?
Jerry, that voice is tattooed on my brain. It's her. I'm telling you, it's her.
Ah, you're crazy.
Am I? Or am I so sane that you just blew your mind?
It's impossible.
Is it? Or is it so possible that your head is spinning like a top?
It can't be.
Can it? Or is your entire world just crashing down all around you?
All right, that's enough.
Yeah!
So remember when I was talking about this episode having really great scenes? Here's another one.
Yes, absolutely. I was blown away, actually, that this episode had so many classic moments.
Yeah.
It's really weird because they kind of go under the radar. It's not like you remember this episode because of this scene.
You're right.
But when it shows up, you're like, oh, this is that episode.
There it is. And Kramer kind of progresses in that clip we just heard, how he's very, standoffish with Jane, and he can't believe what he's witnessing, that he's, encountered Erica in the flesh. Mm-hmm. And then he becomes so sure of himself in this conspiracy that's going on, and he accuses Jerry of the one being a lunatic for not picking up on it, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. That line earlier, before Jane leaves, she's like, oh, I'm going to go uptown. Do you want to split a cab? And Kramer says, what about the driver? Now, is that Kramer trying to crack is that a joke? Is he cracking a joke, or is he, I've done that before. I've used that one so many times. Is Kramer trying to be funny in this scene, or is that like some involuntary response to just the situation?
I'm going to go with number 2. I think that came out totally involuntarily, and he's
since he's so used to the voice. Right,
and his thought, and it's a connection they previously shared about let's just get in a car crash while making out. He says,
wait, was that it?
Well, keeping it PG over here.
He just saw Crash, and he's like into it now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with involuntary.
Okay, cool.
You know how you mentioned that this episode you know how you mentioned this
Go ahead.
It's a fun one to go back and listen to raw, like without any, but just for me and you.
Oh yeah, I mean maybe just for our listeners, I'm going to be editing the hell out of this episode. There is just a lot that's not going to make the final cut.
No, but you know how you said this episode has so many moments that fly under the radar. You didn't even realize they were in the stall. Mm-hmm. I feel like this would be a wonderful episode to show a Seinfeld naive viewer, one that's never seen an episode. And this episode kind of showcased a little bit of everything, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I meant like you get Kramer's physical comedy, his paranoia. You get Elaine in all her glory. Jerry's doing his stand-up and riffing. And the only thing you don't get is like George neurosis. Mm-hmm. Other than that, I think it's and wonderful moments throughout the episode. That's the only thing you don't get. But I think this would be a good episode to show somebody who's never seen a Seinfeld ep before.
Yeah, I think so too. We should maybe start a list of a Seinfeld virgin or newbie. What do you start them off on? I think we've always talked about the contest. Oh, that's the best one. But part of me feels like you need to know these characters a little bit better.
Yeah.
To really appreciate that episode. I think you might be onto something though with the stall. Let's talk about Kramer's performance here real quick, just at the end, as he gets so crazy with, did I just blow your mind? Mm-hmm. This feels like a significant transition to the latter half Kramer. I feel like Michael Richards has a handle on the Kramer character by now, pretty much by like the end of season 3. But I just can't help but thinking about those early seasons when he was, kind of experimenting with the character, coming up with like weird nicknames for people, weird theories he has. This performance here, I always thought happened way later in the series, if that makes sense.
I could see what you're saying. Yeah, it's kind of a transitioning point right now.
Exactly. We're, halfway through season 5, 4.5 episodes behind, 4.5 episodes, yeah, we're 4.5 episodes. Yeah, we're 4.5 episodes in. We're 4.5 seasons. It's so hard. We're 4.5 seasons in. We have 4.5 seasons left to go. This is the moment, Vinny. This is the tipping point.
Hinge.
So next scene is at Monk's, and Jerry and Elaine are grabbing some lunch. Turns out Tony gets all the bandages off on Sunday, and Elaine is worried if you did the face.
She makes this face like a monster, right? She sticks her tongue out, cocks her head to the side, and then does something with her hands.
Well, you might look like Zippy the Pinhead, basically.
Right. I didn't know who Zippy the Pinhead was.
Yeah, who was Zippy?
He looks almost like a clown in a comic strip, but he's got this really pointy head, much like a pin. I'm thinking of Sloth from Goonies is kind of how I see him.
Oh, yeah. He looks like part of like a traveling circus, part of the freak show or something like that. Oh, poor Zippy.
Yeah.
Well, Elaine wonders what her obligation is to stay together, since they were probably going to break up in a couple of weeks anyways.
That's a nice outlook to have for the relationship.
She knows he was a mimbo, but he was her mimbo.
I thought you didn't care about his look.
I lied. That's a good
The
one.
way she just comes out with it is really nice.
I wish we got more Frank Elaine, that sounded weird.
Excuse me?
I wish we got more honest Elaine, just like, I lied.
Yeah.
Because she's always, in this scene in particular, she's so sad. She's so heartbroken. Even if he is a hideous freak, maybe I can learn to love him. Maybe in some final irony, I'll learn what love really is.
Jerry... It kind of seems like she's had this epiphany and it all is forgotten because Jerry's not even paying attention to her.
Right. He's distracted by Kramer looking out the window, kind of behind Ruthie Cohen. And turns out Kramer has arranged for Erica, the phone girl, to meet him at Monk's. And now they'll know the truth. And what do you know? Who shows up but Jane? Now, 1 second before we move on. Why would Erica/Jane show up to meet Kramer if she's already met him?
Kramer doesn't know that he's met Erica.
No, but Erica and Jane, spoilers, are the same person, right?
Yeah.
So why is she showing up to meet Kramer?
Because she's not a good person?
If she were showing up to meet Kramer and Jerry's not there, would she be like, all right, yeah, you figured it out. I'm Erica, or I'm Jane.
Is she going to have a physical relationship with Kramer? Because Kramer's got this Kavorka, we have a connection.
That's sort of the vibe I got.
Is she going to cheat on Jerry with Kramer?
That's kind of the vibe I got. Like, she would have walked in knowing that Kramer's going to know that she's Jane. Mm-hmm. And she would have just walked in and been like, yeah, you put it together. You want to play with the slinky?
You want to get it on? What did Larry Charles anticipate happening in this scene?
Right. It's one of these weird moments where I think it doesn't really matter. All that matters is that Jane is there. We're going to resolve the Elaine storyline, and you're going to get that great last line of the episode. But it really doesn't make sense, I feel like, from like a logical standpoint.
Yeah.
But again, sitcom, 20 years old.
Idiots.
It's okay.
And Jane kind of plays it off. If she, we don't even know what's Jane thinking. What are you doing? Yeah, because she plays it off really well. If that is in fact the case, that she went to meet Kramer, saw Jerry instead,
and not
now
only
she's like, hey, I thought I'd find you here.
In addition to that, you're right. She does play it really well. Jerry accuses her of selling sexual favors, on the phone, but she throws it back at him and says, "I sell paper goods, you jerk."
Paper goods. This is kind of like. Jerry kind of jumps the gun here. He doesn't give Jane a chance to get caught red-handed. It's like when Jerry accused Amy of cheating with cousin Jeffrey, and he had no proof.
Right.
And now Jerry's the one looking like he's stuck between the moon and New York City.
Okay. So Elaine asks for a tissue. And of course, Jane says, hey, I can't spare a square. And as she heads to the bedroom and enlightened...
Bedroom?
Bathroom. Oh man, Freudian slip. An enlightened Elaine sprints ahead of her, and we're back to the beginning of the episode, this time in the monk's bathroom.
Oh, damn. Something wrong? Yeah, there's no toilet paper in here. I usually check, but would you mind? I can't. I don't have it. I don't have a square to spare. I can't spare a square. Hey, wait a minute. I know you. That's right, honey. And I know you. Go. What? Don't call me anymore.
You either.
Do you get a Cheever Letters kind of vibe from this scene? You know, that the episode pretty much wraps up with that final revelation that...
In the sense that there is this big reveal, yes.
That you thought was, one thing. In fact, it's the other.
Or your biggest fear is actually true.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, anyways, it just reminded me a lot of that kind of reveal, and I love those moments. It doesn't stick as well as the Cheever Letters does. It doesn't pack a punch. But,
who wrote the Cheever Letters?
Oh, I think that was a Larry David, and it was a Tom Leopold idea.
Okay.
Story by. But I just like that because to me, those sort of endings, they have me leaving the episode with like my heart racing in a good way.
Yeah.
And I just really like it when that happens. I'm not entirely sure we'll get that again in the same way. But do you like this kind of revelation, or is it just, well, it was pretty obvious it was her to begin with?
I enjoy Kramer and Jerry's mouth agape as they both realize at the same time when she lets it on, and she does that little tongue swirl.
Right.
Don't call me. Don't worry. That happens a lot with Jerry. But then as well, Kramer, you don't call me either.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's something interesting. There was an alternate ending to this episode, or at least an extension. We don't really know what happens with Elaine and Tony in the episode proper. We just sort of assume when we get to next week's that they broke up at some point. She wasn't able to deal with the scarring or the, maybe he couldn't keep his face clean.
Yeah, we thought that she was the superficial one and Tony was purely a simple-minded mimbo. Couldn't do no wrong. But from this deleted
optimist.
Yes. But from this deleted scene, we'll learn that Tony's kind of a jerk himself.
Right. So in this alternate ending, Elaine and Tony go rock climbing, and his face is all healed up, no bandages, nothing, no scars. And I'll go to the clip here, but they're kind of next to each other, similar to Kramer and George were earlier.
You healed so perfectly. Other than that tiny little line, you'd never know anything happened.
What is that you got there, right there?
What?
Is that a pimple?
Oh, yeah, that's a bad spot.
Oh, I can't handle it.
What?
It's time to step off, babe.
Me? Step off?
Yeah, see, complexion's my thing. Sorry, I gotta go.
No, but wait, I can't keep up with you. You can't leave me up here. It's just one of those things that'll clear up in like 2 days.
Can't deal, babe.
But I made sandwiches.
I am so sad that this did not make it into the final cut. I love this deleted scene for several reasons. I like that Tony is just as superficial as Elaine, and that a little tiny pimple, it'll go away in a couple days. Skin complexion's a big thing for me, babe. And he just takes off and leaves her up there. But to see helpless Elaine, on the side of a mountain yodeling, and she's even more pathetic than George was now. It's just a really, it's really sweet. You see a sweet helpless Elaine on this mountain, and you really feel for her.
Yeah,
but I think that's a great deleted scene.
Yeah, I agree. It's a really nice visual, and it's nice that it ties back to the earlier Kramer George scene.
And Elaine made sandwiches too.
That's right.
Tony's a jerk.
Now, of course, the thing is extreme sports, bungee jumping. To me, if bungee jumping is a sport, so is being a crash test dummy. Just leaning does not make it a sport. It's like a Wile E. Coyote idea, isn't it? The thing I wonder about the skydiving is why do they even bother with the helmets? Can you almost make it? Well, you might as well just wear a party hat. What's the difference? I mean, you jump out of a plane 20,000 feet in the air, the chute doesn't open. I got news for you. The helmet is now wearing you for protection. Later on, the helmet's talking to the other helmets going, boy, it's a good thing he was there, or I would have hit the ground directly.
Now, this stand-up feels really familiar, the joke of, a crash or a helmet wearing you for protection.
It's from his stand-up album.
All right.
I'm telling you for the last time.
Are you?
Never. The whole comment, bungee jumping, just leaning doesn't make it a sport. Jerry also talks about the luge, and how that's not a sport. He's like, oh, he pointed his toes. Ooh, he's some world-class athlete. But I like Jerry's kind of little bit condescending toward these sports here, right?
Well, isn't bowling considered a sport as well?
Yes.
Do you think it's a sport?
No.
No? Okay. Gonna piss off our bowling listeners.
It is a sport, and it's considered a sport, but I like sports that you have to like train and develop your body and prepare for. Versus, some would argue that golf is not a sport; it's more of a hobby and a skill versus an actual sport. But golfers do train. And
where do you fall on that with golf?
I suck at golf.
Yeah. You're not as bad as me.
That's true. I've never seen anybody hit a ball backwards before.
While swinging forwards.
Yeah. Aiming forward, ball goes backwards. I don't know. I would say it's more. I'd say it's a sport.
Yeah,
begrudgingly.
We might get shut down with those comments, Vinny.
So, what do you think?
Really enjoyed this episode. Love the Tony character. Love the Jane character for completely different reasons. I think she's a really nice foil. Someone really to dislike in this episode. I just don't like the way she treats Elaine. She obviously isn't very honest with Jerry. But I kind of love to hate her, if that makes sense.
I like her for the reason that she is flawed. She has this double life she's leading. Mm-hmm. And I think she does go well with Jerry somehow. Like, they had the nice rapport in the movie theater when Jerry's babbling on about artificial flavoring.
On a physical level, I think they really do complement each other. You're right.
She's massaging his shoulder. She's like tussling the back of his hair.
Well, do you think eventually the whole but like sex phone operator profession would have come out? Or would she have tried to keep that hidden?
She probably would have kept it hidden.
Right. And if she did reveal it, do you think Jerry would stay with her?
Jerry sounds
obviously not from the ending.
He probably would have. Yeah, that's right. He would have steel-toed her ass back to Kentucky.
Right. But Tony, you're also a big fan of, right?
Oh, man. Dan Cortez, Jamie Gertz, knocking it out of the park this week. There's only 6 actors in this show. 7 if you count Ruthie Cohen. So it's a small little play we have, which I always love when we have. But 2 great guest stars this week. And Dan Cortez does not disappoint. One of my favorite Elaine boyfriends.
Yes.
Despite that deleted scene, him breaking up with Elaine over a pimple, that pisses me off. But other than that, I think he's great. He embodies the 90s. He's a dude, but he's really a bimbo.
Yeah, absolutely. Of the main 4, though, I think Jerry had a lot of fun this week. I love Kramer's rant, his nicknames, his whole Andre subplot is brilliant. Love Elaine's, kind of like just admitting, I like dating a mimbo. He's mine. And a lot of range for her character this week. But I think my favorite character of the week has to go to George.
Really?
Just being, he's being himself, especially when he's on that mountain, just absolutely terrified. Mainly because it's a twist on his character, because seeing this vulnerable, childlike side of George.
Because we all know George is a coward. He doesn't let that on. Appearances show that he's not confident, but he doesn't carry himself that way. This week, we actually see the cowardice in him come out, right?
Yeah, and how desperate he is just to have someone around him that's cool, to make himself feel better.
He's totally fine with being relegated to somebody's sidekick.
Yes.
When Jerry asks him outright, "What are you, a sidekick now?" Yeah. Have you ever been friends with a cool guy? He's content with that, which is sad and endearing at the same time.
Right. That scene again in Monks with the hat, turning around. One of my all-time favorite George scenes. Just love that side of him. But any character stand out for you as a highlight?
No, I think they all had their moments. It's really the scenes themselves. The scene, like you said, with Tony and George at Monks, Kramer and Jerry with the world crashing down around you, Elaine and Tony in the apartment.
Let's not forget the bathroom scenes. How simple and perfect those are.
Yeah, but Elaine and Tony in the appointment where she's kind of in the apartment where she's interrogating him. Think, Tony, think. What do they say? I'm drawing a blank, babe. So really just a fun episode I thought from start to finish.
Hey, here's a random question for you. How did Elaine get all that toilet paper in the last scene?
So quickly?
Yeah.
I'm too tired.
Okay. Let's wrap up. I think we love this episode. What are you going to give it?
I'm going to give this episode 9 tubs of popcorn with artificial flavoring, which I like more than butter.
Out of 10.
Out of 10. Thank you.
I'm going to give it 9 peanut butter and jujube sandwiches out of 10.
That's disgusting.
And this is, to me, somewhere between pretty good and gold. I think this is definitely one of the stronger episodes of season 5, for sure. What about you?
I agree. I from start to finish, this episode had me laughing out loud. And whenever it does that's a solid episode. So I would say gold.
Top 20, is it cracking it at all?
I wanted it to crack my top 20, but my number 20 is a Cigar Store Indian, and I don't want that to leave. So... This is going to be like 21 for me, so I'm sorry, Larry Charles.
Ooh.
But it's a damn good episode.
Yeah, it really is. I'm tempted to put it in there at my number 20 is Parking Garage. I want to give it sort of the honor of making my top 20 at one point. you know?
Can we make it our top 21? Yeah.
I'm going to make it my top 20. I'm getting the Parking Garage bumped down to 21, and the Stall is going to be my number 20.
That means the next time you enter the top 20, Stall's gone. But you got it for the week.
Yeah, it's enjoying its moment in the sun.
I see what you did there. Alrighty, that's going to do it for us here on Seincast this week. Reach out to us at seincast@gmail.com, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram.
Vinny, what episode are we discussing next week?
Next week, we're discussing the 13th episode from Season 5, The Marine Biologist.
All right, but you're going to have to take it outside.
Whatever you say. Growl.
But for now, I'm Matt.
I'm Vinny.
Signing off. Seincast is not endorsed by Castle Rock Entertainment, Sony Pictures, or NBC. It is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Seinfeld, the Seinfeld logo, and all names, pictures, and audio of Seinfeld characters are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective trademark and copyright holders.
Yodelay. Yodelay.